And welcome back to the FPL show. 2 episodes in a week, something we don't always do, but something we're trying to maintain. As you can see, we've added an extra guest on today from, when was it, Wednesday? I think I uploaded it, but we recorded on Tuesday. Dom, how you going?
Great, happy to be here.
Beautiful. Damo.
Excited.
How are you, Paulie?
Good, mate. Good. Ready for, well, we're pretty much 24 hours at the point of recording from the start of game week 3, and obviously a lot to unpack and a lot to go through, but we are live on stream now. I'm hoping the chat is working for being on screen. We'll see how I'm pretty sure it was before, but we'll see how it goes. But obviously we've got plenty to... Okay, it's not working. Just my luck.
Yeah, I thought it came up before, but that's okay.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, we've got plenty to talk about as Paulie's trying to fix that. I'll jump in. In this pod, I'm actually going to discuss, is wildcarding viable in game week 3? I'm also going to discuss wildcarding past game week 9 and game week 12 or 13, and there's a reason as to that. And that has to relate to do with these boys here, along with a couple of other teams. And we also have to do with the fact that Dom's just resubbed the Paulie's channel. Go the Crowies, up the Crows, gonna win the showdown. But we also will be discussing our team selection and any last minute transfers that you're planning to make before the deadline, which for me may be wildcarding, but we'll get into that in just a second.
All right, I reckon we'll probably start off here with Dom because we didn't get your review of last week. Thank you for the resub once again. Unfortunately, I don't have the alert box on whilst we're streaming, so unfortunately that didn't come up, but that would have absolutely blown the eardrums off everybody listening from home. But Dom, how did you go last week? As again,
back-to-back 69s.
There we go.
Nice.
We'll take that all day long. 69. Yeah. Who was your best performing player?
Jesus, like 75% of fantasy.
Yeah,
but
exactly 75. Yeah.
I think the only one I had that performed well that neither of you have is Reece James.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Harry Kane? Do either of you have Harry Kane?
No. Both got Haaland.
Okay, well, I got a Kane 8 and a James 7. And I think the rest of our teams were pretty similar. Salah, Haaland, Jesus.
Have you got Diaz?
For me and Paul.
Who's your 8 mil mid?
I don't have one.
Oh, that's right.
I've got Kane,
the other 3. That's
Haaland,
right.
and Jesus.
Aha, that makes sense.
69. I'm into the top milli.
Just inside?
Just a singular point ahead of Paul.
Yeah, you just inside a million.
Yeah, 958,000.
So we're 100,000 away because I'm 1,049,000 or something. So there's a 1 point in it, and there's 500,000 people in between. So that's
I'm 950,000. So we've got about bang on a million people.
Yeah. So there's 500,000 between us.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, a million between us.
A million, yeah.
No, it's 100,000. What are you about? Oh no, you're 950 and I'm 105. So 105. So not much, but still a lot. So probably lots to talk about, as Damo's mentioned. We'll probably start with Damo in your talk at the moment and what you're potentially thinking, and we'll open it up to the viewers because I finally got the chat box up and firing. So Damo, do you want to talk the viewers through? Do you want me to try and pull the draft up on screen whilst you talk through it?
Yeah, go ahead. Pull the draft up, one of the drafts up right now, because I have done a few. If you can't tell, my temples are pulsing with absolute headache, tension headache-esque vibes, because I've been on Fantasy Hub for the last hour and a half playing around with the possibility of wildcarding. And there's a couple aspects why to wildcard. Firstly, I do feel like there is definitely more... It's more beneficial to have probably a free up top system with no 8 midfielder with a few of the cheaper midfielders in place. I think there's more value in going bigger at the back with then having a Tony alongside a Jesus and a premium up top as well. And what's led me to believe in that is watching all the other content around the fixtures for Brentford swing massively for the next 10 game weeks. It's pretty good. Rico Henry's got the most shots in the box as a defender this year so far, so he's another option. and which is leading me to a Brentford triple up, which I didn't think I was going to say at the start of the year, but the fixtures do definitely lead that way.
All right, your team's up on the screen now, Dame, if you want to talk through it that you're thinking.
Yeah, the second thing that I'm also thinking up there as well is Son, and it's not just Son. That team there has Haaland. I'm tempted to move Haaland to Kane. And the main reason is you look at the next 4 fixtures for Spurs, the points potential and who they're playing is quite significant compared to what City's is. I think it's the best 4 fixtures that you can get. And it also allows me to do, in that point there, I can captain Salah, so I'll captain Son this week, and then I can captain, Salah the week after, etc. The only problem with that is I don't get that fixture between Haaland and Nottingham Forest in game week 5, which I'm worried about.
Yep.
But my plan is to move Haaland on in game week 6 because the midweek game fixture, Champions League starts. I actually think he will suffer from Pep Roulette, so I am tempted on moving Haaland out. If I just quickly go onto the Fantasy Premier League website,
it's almost a 4 premium, isn't it? Really, like you've got 2 premium defenders. You've got Jesus, who's like a cheap premium at the way he's going to play.
Yeah,
and then you've got the two big boys in there as well in Son or 3 big boys. One of the 11.5 million strikers and Son and Salah.
Yeah, and the main reason I'm doing it is Spurs play Wolves this game week, who historically have had a good defence, but they're playing 4 at the back and do look like they can be got at so far this year. They then walk into Nottingham Forest, which is obviously I'm captaining Kane or Son, depending on who that is. But in saying that, though, I do believe Salah has Bournemouth, so you probably go Salah there, so you're probably wasting, maybe having Son and Kane. But then the week after, you've got West Ham, who have not looked particularly right just of yet, so they're probably right for the taking. And then they got Fulham, newly promoted, and you would imagine that Son or Kane is your best captaincy option there. The only issue is then game week 7, you do rock into Man City. Leicester have looked woeful, so I'm happy with that in game week 8. Then they got Arsenal in game week 9. They usually rock up for that. And then you probably get rid of them in game week 12 when they go Man United, Newcastle, Liverpool, and then it's the World Cup. So my temptation is if I wildcard now, I set myself in a spot where I can get to the World Cup and be happy with most of the premiums and then obviously play around with the best 5-5s.
Yeah.
But at the same stage, I feel like if I'm going to go 2 Spurs players, I need a third. I would like a defender, but I can't trust Perisic. A, do you think it's the right decision to wildcard this game week? Is what I would ask you to and open up the floor. Secondly, if that is the case, would you go to a third Spurs player in that setup? And if so, is it Lloris and net to protect the defensive clean sheets, or do you pick a defender and ride maybe the Perisic train as everyone else is getting off it?
Dom, do you want to respond to that one first?
Like the Perisic train, from all reports, he's getting the start. And I don't know if anyone watched the game, but he was taking corners or swinging corners on both sides.
Yeah.
And with that run coming up and their threat in the box, Harry Kane's always a threat. Their centre backs, whoever plays centre half, they're a threat. So I like bringing Perisic back in, and he's dropped 0.1.
0.1.
Yeah, 0.2 actually, I think now.
I really like the Spurs' upcoming fixtures. They've shown they can score goals. And under Conte, you back in Conte as well, because you're not just backing in the player, you're backing in the manager as well. And Conte's shown that he gets attacking returns.
Yeah, I think if you're going to back Perisic, you're just going to make sure one of your other defenders has really solid fixtures in the same weeks that he does as well. So you're kind of needing to have 2 options. You need someone to bring in for the bad fixture, and then you need someone to be your first sub on the good fixtures, because once the midweek games start rolling around and Champions League starts coming, he may get the 1 or 2 blanks. But then if it is Dunk, or if it's a Brighton defender, if it's I know you've got in that Rico Henry and Dunk, but then you're starting to Silver as well. So I feel like, and you've got Patterson, you've got Williams in there. So there's a lot of uncertainty that's starting, because you've got Andreas and Plange as well. So you'd have to just make sure that any of those 4-5s, which are Henry and Dunk in particular, one of them needs to be alternating on the on week, and the other one needs to alternate the off week, just to give you that option to be able to bounce him out or cover a good game week if Perisic doesn't play.
Yeah.
The second one is obviously going to be Harry Kane, and that's just a Kane Haaland. At this point, it doesn't really matter. I don't think it matters up until the World Cup. It's not going to surprise me if Kane and Haaland are very similar in their returns, I think. And then you've sort of done what I've done, and you've gone away from that middle midfielder bracket. So you're either going premium or you're going cheap. So
yeah,
I like it. Does that make you spend all your money?
pretty close too. I'm pretty sure it's obviously on Fantasy Hub, Football Hub. There,
Yeah, it's a bit
hard
off.
to tell, and then you have to go into there. I did draw it up pretty close to that, and I was able to afford it. I'm just currently playing around with Fantasy Football Hub yet again right now, so there might be an update to this as well, because I do think that the keeper spot is an area which if I had Raya or Sanchez right now, I don't think I would think about wild carding. But the fact I've got Ward and Leicester have not looked good,
Yeah.
I'm tempted to wild card to get either Ramsdale or Edison or Lloris in net. I would love Nick Pope long term, but their fixtures are pretty horrid right now, Newcastle. So
Post World Cup.
So I'm just playing around with it right now on Fantasy Football Hub. My only issue is that if I go Son and I go Salah, I don't know how I then get in Kane or Haaland into that as well with Cancelo and Trent and Perisic.
Wait, as in you saying having Kane, Jesus, and Haaland in one team?
Yeah, no, Kane, Jesus, Kane/Haaland, Jesus, Son, Salah.
You've already got that.
I was trying to draw up now. And
You've already got it. You've got Haaland, Jesus, Salah, Son, Cancelo, Trent.
Yeah, let me go and have a look.
I don't know what you're talking about, but that's there currently. So
yeah, look, I'm trying to draw it up right now, and it's now telling me I don't have the funds to do it. But yeah,
that's part of the problem. I think you just mucked around with it that much that things have changed. But look, end of the day, your first question was, would you do it? I still probably wouldn't, because you're pulling the pin probably 5 weeks early, and if something drastically goes wrong, then you're waiting a long time to be able to make wholesale changes.
I just don't think it's the season where wholesale changes are going to be needed, though. You can get to any of the premium defenders within a move, because there's just between 7.5 to like 5 mil, and it's only a mil and a half you need to find. There's 2 moves most places.
So what's been the main issue in your current setup that's making you, other than the goalkeeper, that's making you pull the pin?
Well, if you look at my current team, if you want to bring that up, I'm happy with it. And there's aspects of me that want me to keep it. Firstly, Cucurella's about to go up in price. I've rode him for this long for this game fixture, so to wild card him out would be quite annoying. Second thing is, as much as I'm a Liverpool fan, as you can see, I actually think there's a big possibility United score against us and give us a really tough game. And I know it's a very unpopular opinion.
All right. Your points from last week are up now.
Yeah, and with that being said, that it's an unpopular opinion, it maybe is me being a little bit pessimistic, but I just don't see a world where Robbo's getting a return this week. I see a world where James is getting a return this week. I don't know if Trent will get a return. I would hope so. Salah's a question mark if I want to captain him or not. I don't want to then captain Jesus because, at the end of the day, everyone is going to be a Jesus only. The only way you get ahead is by captaining him, but wait and we'll see. I know if I get Son in, or if I get Spurs in right now, I get the 4 fixtures. If I don't get him in now, then I've probably got to ride this whole run of good Spurs fixtures out without him. So it's either a wild card now to get the Spurs players in and back that in for the 4 game weeks to play a little bit of catch up. Because I do think my rate's a bit too low for what I would have liked to have started with. Thank you very much, Digno. But at the same stage, I know if I wildcard now, I'd be in a better setup if I can somehow work it out to be free up front. That I can always move off that with the money within 2 moves. It just depends on how I set that up, which I don't know how.
You get up his team that he's thinking about wildcarding? Because I just think you're pulling the trigger a bit early.
What was that?
Can you pull up Damo's
just give me 1 second and I can get it back up.
I think you're just panicking a bit. I think
that's the team there.
Because I just think it's now, you either get on the Spurs players now or you don't get on them at all for this run. Because if you get on them next week, which is not, everyone might jump on them, so there might be a price rise. And if they have a good week against Wolves, there's going to be a price rise. So it might be beneficial to jump on Son this week. He could as well get a couple of goals this week. He'll go back up to 12. So you can catch the price rise there. They then got Knots, who they'll pump. They don't get West Ham, who've not looked good. They
What's his ownership, Damo? Suns?
What is it on Fantasy Premier League right now? I've got it here. 18.6% is down to 11.9.
11.9%.
Yeah, 11.9 current price.
18 over ownership.
Oh, geez, he's still more than Kane.
Yeah, which I think there is. Kane and Son are two very good players to be picking up this game week. I just don't have the Bulls obviously drop Salah for that either, because Salah's your captain.
You can't be dropping Salah.
No, not at all. Not before United. As much as I think there's a world where United put up a really strong test against us because we've not been great, I do also think there's a world where Salah rocks up and scores a hat-trick. So,
no, I think you got to be backing in Salah.
Yeah, chat. What do you reckon as well? If you're here, give Damo some feedback. Do you reckon Damo should wildcard?
That team that you have there, which is my current side, is predicted to get 70-something points next game week, but I think everyone's predicted to get 70-something points because the fixtures are really good. My issue is long-term in game week 8, no matter which way you go, if I keep it, wildcard, you name it, everyone plays everyone. Liverpool play Chelsea.
Game week 8 is a mental week. And then you'll triple up Brentford play Arsenal.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's down the drain. City have a decent game week, but the week before you got Spurs playing City, so then you're in trouble there. So it's not particularly something that you want to do.
Make or break.
Game week 8 is just like, if you're getting more than 50 points, you might just walk away with that being happy.
Tempted to play a free hit in game week 8 and get out of the Chelsea-Liverpool fixtures and try and just find the right fixtures in game week 8 because all the big boys seem to be playing each other in that period.
I don't think there's real big ones.
No, but I'm just saying by then you have 7 weeks of data and you target some fixtures potentially.
I wouldn't be free hitting until there's a double game week or a blank game week like FA Cup semi-final. You got 4 teams missing, so there's only 4 teams playing.
No, free hit's a good chip.
4 fixtures going on or 5 fixtures there. I don't know. I might play around in the background with a couple of drafts as we're talking a bit more about other areas of FPL. And if I come to something that I like, I might send it back through to you, Paul, and we can bring it up and discuss it. But I think the players for me, if I wanted a wild card that I have to be in there, is Salah, Son, Kane. I then would like to keep Trent and Cancelo.
Yeah.
And then it's just a question, do you go with Spurs defender? Which defender do you go with? Or do you put Loris in goals? And then I think if you go like that, though, you don't have enough money to do anything else. It may be a 2-man midfield with Son and Salah, but then you need 5 at the back, and that's kind of hard to build with the lack of money.
Yeah, that's fair. So, plenty to consider there. Again, I think you just got to make sure that with those 4-5 defenders, you're playing fixtures and rotation because you've obviously got a lot of money there tied into, 6 really premium players. And just obviously the one thing you lose is the flexibility. I know we spoke about you potentially having a couple midfielders in the 5-5 bracket to just swing in and out based on fixtures. So that seems quite far away from there, but I think we'll move over to Dom. Obviously, we've had a look at your... we haven't had a look at your team yet. I can bring your team up quickly, actually, and we can talk through your... Well, you have spoken about your points from last week, so what I might do is, let me double-check which team yours is. I'm assuming you're the Kane, Haaland, and Jesus team, so let's jump back to the pod web. So I've got your team as it stands now, so what has changed from last week? And maybe give us some rationale on who your captain choice is at the moment. You there, Dom?
So have you my 2?
Oh, there you go. He's robotic now.
Turned into a robot when he's got the centre stage. So we can talk through the team at the moment. So it's Raya in goal, James, Trent, and Neko, which he's been playing 3 at the back so far most of the season with Salah, Martinelli, De Silva, and Neto. So that's definitely a new transfer there in De Silva. And then he's got Haaland, Kane, Jesus, which hasn't changed with Ward, Patterson, Andreas
Haaland, Kane,
Trippier.
Jesus with 3, great.
Yeah.
You gone robotic again?
So, pardon?
Are you back? Good.
Trade out Trippier next week is my plan.
Yep. So what were the changes you did this week? Obviously, De Silva's come in for somebody.
For Leon Bailey.
Yep. And you say you made 2 transfers. I got 1 in the bank still.
2. I got Raya for Iverson.
Oh, nice. That's a good shout. So I don't mind that. That's made the team a lot more solid.
We're going to be doing the same thing with Trippier. It's just I don't know who yet.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about Trippier at the moment. And I think a lot of people that are within our community and that are playing, Trippier is an interesting one because I watched a video earlier and a lot of the experts that were involved from FPL Mate's 100 expert video, a lot of people were transferring him out, but the trend currently is to transfer him in. Obviously, casuals are seeing 7 and 7, and they've gone, like a lot of that. Plus, not much on the attacking returns, but you're obviously getting the City-Liverpool fixtures that are split by Wolves, which is annoying. But I think you've probably done the right thing there and ride the Wolves fixture next week. Whether you can play Neto against them as well, I don't know. I'll have to make that decision next week. Obviously, we both only have one transfer next week too, so I'm going to try and probably stockpile a transfer after this game week, which means they're both in my team next week, so I have to make a decision there. But what are your worries going into this week?
Big one, just about to say Neto. I think he gets benched for Guedes.
Wait, did Guedes play at all last week? I don't think he did.
Nah, but...
He may come off early.
Very worried about Neto this week.
Yeah, and that will probably force our hand next week with one transfer, which is frustrating. We may need to pull the trigger next week. When my team hasn't changed at the moment, so I'm still rolling Tony with Haaland and Jesus, and I've got $1 million in the bank. So if I need to make a move, I won't even bother putting my team up. My team's the exact same. I might just read through it quickly whilst I bring it up on my phone. So I've gone with Ward, Trent, Cancelo, Robbo, Patterson. So Robbo's managed to hold and not get a point, take a 4-point hit on Robbo. Yeah. I just believe that the way he's playing and attacking returns on the way. So I'm just going to ride and die with him. Salah, De Silva, Martinelli, Tony, Jesus, Haaland. And that leaves Neto and Trippier on my bench. So I've got quite a bit of money still sitting on the bench. Whether Neto goes down to a cheaper midfielder in order to fund a move for one of the defenders higher, because now Reece James is out of my price zone. If I wanted to go Trippier up to Reece James, I'm going to have to make some money, which means it's probably Neto going down to a 4.5 or someone in that bracket. But again, other than De Silva and Andreas, I don't actually think there's any other value cheaper mids as well. But if Neto's going to ride the bench and I'm going to bring Trippier out for Reece James, for example, then, I could probably look eventually at playing a back five and going 5-2-3 and not really needing that extra midfielder spot. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. I'm a bit on the edge. I've got a lot of this team that I really like. I'm really keen to see how Ivan Toney goes against Fulham in particular this week. Obviously on penalties as well. Big chance that he can score. I see a world where he scores 1 or 2 or gets a goal and gets an assist and is really involved. And interesting to see if Damsgaard is the player that we think he might be. I think he's priced at 5.5 from memory. So he could be an easy move to somebody else.
Where does he play? He's a winger and they play...
Well, he'll play in that Ericsson role as part of the 3, but the thing is, I'm going to pull my team quickly up so you guys can get the visual of it. Now, I just got to remember what tab I've got it on. Where did I put it? I think I used it for Damos. Wait a minute, now I'm crumbling. My thoughts were when... Oh, far out. I've got so many tabs open. What did I do with it? This is actually beyond the joke. When they played... Oh, it's because I got Damos team up and I had it on mine. That's why. All right. There we go. That's my team. That's my team from last week. That's my team from this week. So as I talk through it, with Brentford, when they played Leicester, they lined up 4-3-3. So I think in the games that Brentford are expected to win, I think they're going to play 4-3-3, which means it's Mbeumo on the right, Damsgaard on the left, Tony through the middle, De Silva, Jensen, and whoever, and is it Norgard that will play as the 3?
Yeah. Play 3 Danish guys. Dormsgaard, Jensen, Nordsgaard, and...
Damsgaard is too. What do you mean? I was in a midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They played 3, and all 3 of them were Danish.
Well, I can't, because the Silva was in there.
Nordsgaard, Jensen... Oh, no, I'm thinking of the game before.
Anyway, so that's...
Yeah.
So when they're in games that they think they're going to win, they're going to play 4-3-3, and they did that in pre-season as well. So Damsgaard left, Tony up front, and Buemo on the right. That's lethal. And I think 5-5 for Damsgaard with the run of games. As long as Neto doesn't look dreadful or get dragged, I don't really want to get forced into an early transfer again this week. But I feel like if Neto has another blank or he gets dragged or something goes wrong, then he'll get transferred out really early. And
very worried.
I'll have to just go straight swap to a 5-5 and hold the million and, you know, try and...
When do they play? Oh, Wolves are the first game.
They're
deadly.
first up with Spurs.
That's not good.
So that could be another Sunday morning transfer to avoid a price drop, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, we need him. We needed him playing Sunday night.
Yeah. So Damo, in your pre-wildcard team, you don't have Neto, do you?
No, never had him. I had Bailey.
Okay, fair enough. So that's where I'm at. That's the only thing at the moment for me. If I then get rid of Neto next week, then I've got no issue playing Trippier whatsoever. And then Damsgaard switches in. Means I have to triple up Brentford probably game week 5 unless Andreas is fit. But got options. And I'm more than happy to ride my front three all the way up to my wild card as well in Jesus, Tony and Haaland. So I'm pretty... If you had to ask a percentage, I'd say I'm 85% on my team at the moment. I'm a bit shaky on that fourth defender because at the moment it's Trippier. I love Trippier, I really do, but I'm trying to think of a way. Do I upgrade Patterson potentially, which means I don't get the 5-5 midfielder in for Neto. It means I have to go 4-5. Yeah. So I can turn Patterson into a 6. Saying that... There's not really any 6 million guys either. So you're kind of looking... Perisic really looks tempting in 2 weeks' time as a real option. But then again, the fixtures aren't that great. So that means I missed the Forest and Wolves game. So it's not ideal. So bit to consider for my defence. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the midfield. And I'm very happy with my front line. So I'm just hoping that I'll have enough there. What's this stream that we've got appearing?
Just click on it if you can make it.
I'm assuming that's you doing something.
Yep. If you can make that full screen.
Oh, that's so much better.
And trying to get the screenshot.
A lot of talks about Pedro Neto leaving now. Makes me even more...
To Arsenal still, or where else?
Arsenal, I think, is the big one. And then I think Chelsea and Man City.
Wow, okay.
Oh, Man United, sorry. Man United.
If he goes to United, it'll be all right. But other than that...
Yeah, other than that.
All right.
I can afford the team on screen with 0.1 in the bank, according to... I did that on the Fantasy Premier League website as well, and then reset my changes.
Dakar Welbs.
It is not all of them. I just feel like if I want a good back four with, knowing that there's 4 starters every week...
So you lose the premium striker is what you do.
I do, but I do gain Tony, and I gain Welbeck for his good fixtures as well. Jesus is playing like a premium. And it allows me to get the Son, Salah rotationary captaincy as well. And that seems to match up okay. As you can see, you would captain Son this week. Next week, it's obviously 2 really good fixtures. Everton and West Ham, you'd probably go Salah. And then when they go Wolves, you will get... when they go Newcastle, which has got a bit of a better defence, we can go Fulham there for Son. And then you get... obviously, the Man City fixture, which is not great, but by the Man City fixture, I would have made my points and I had 2 free transfers that I can go back to making a transfer to get Son out to a cheaper premium midfielder.
Or even like a Sterling.
Yeah, or I can go and upgrade that as a 5th defender and go 5 at the back and upgrade Neko to a 6 mil defender or a 7 or Cucurella if he's nailed. I just feel like it's dirty getting rid of Cucurella after holding him for the 3 weeks in the week where it looks like he's going to start and play and go up in price of the week I'm transferring him out.
Yeah, I like the look of that better. Dom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, but I still just don't like the wild card.
I'm the same. I still wouldn't.
I think just leave it this weekend, Dave.
Watch Phil Foden just create everything against Newcastle and then you'll be salty you lost him.
It's not. It's more the fact that I'm like looking at predicted points. It's like 64, 75.
Yeah, but you were the same person that said at the deadline I picked Digne based on the predicted points, and look what happened. So
yeah,
you got to take it with a pinch of salt. I just think it's a long wait till game week 16, whatever it is, to the World Cup. That's my concern. It's a long
but
way.
as long as you roll 1 week of transfers, 2 transfers is plenty. 3 is only a game week is a -4 hit. If you need more than 3 transfers, then you really have made a really poor wild card.
So we trust our wait, but at the end it's a computer, so we trust our gut. What do you mean, Dim? But anyway, look, I don't know. I just feel like it's just a tad early still. I don't know. That's just my. I'm not going to change that opinion. That just doesn't matter what the team looks like. It's just not going to change my view. So that's, I don't know. If you feel you're chasing that hard to catch up, then go for it. But
I do feel
that
that.
week 3.
Yeah.
I do feel a bit of pressure to catch up right now. This is one of the worst starts I've had on fantasy for a while. So
yeah, but you end up going to get the people that triple captained and bench boosted and bloody made all these weird transfers and it paid off. That luck runs out, to be fair. So look, that's just my view. I'm at that point where I'm gonna hold, and I was, tempted at one point, but not really, to be fair.
My biggest worry is Robertson.
Nah, I'm fine with Robbo.
I'm not. I feel like that was my mistake. From start of the season was Digne, Zinchenko, Kulusevski for what would have been Diaz, and then in the end went Mount. And I reckon if I somehow just had the balls to stick with Diaz like I did originally, then we would have been all right. So
yeah, but anyway, it is what it is. This week you take Foden out, and then Foden will score well again, and Martinelli won't score, and then it'll be why did I pull the trigger? Or you'll take Haaland out and he'll bag a hat trick. So it's just, I don't know. I just think you've picked a team on merit, and to bin it after 2 weeks is, you've built a team to last year to 8 weeks, and to bin it after 2, probably more based on the -1 you caught from Digne, more so than anything. So I don't know. I just think ride it at the moment, but that's just.
I just feel like my team has no flexibility in terms of where to go. In terms of it, I just feel like there's too much money tied up in Haaland. I don't have a premium. I have a premium midfielder in Salah, but I don't particularly have a back four that I'm settled on. I'm not settled on Cucurella. I would imagine he is nailed at the minute from what Conte's.
Well, that was a risk you were prepared to take on deadline.
Thing. I was, and it looks like it's going to pay off because he's about to go up in price. So.
Yeah, but if you're not sure on points though, like money's only one side of the game, you still be able to score points, and if you're not certain, that's the thing.
It's more the fact that I banked on bloody Trent and Robertson starting the season well.
Yeah, but heaps of people have Trent. So the only one's Robbo. Robbo's the one that hurts.
Yeah,
but
Robbo's cost me probably a million in rank.
But he's also cost 15% of the game the same. So it's not the end of the world. And you'll take Robbo out, he'll get a clean sheet and assist, and you'll be like this. Why?
Well, I don't know.
Why did I do it for Dunk?
I feel like the best situations I take out Robertson and he goes big and we win 6-0 and I'll be like, great. My part in taking out Robertson to help Liverpool Football Club, great. Where if I keep him in and United beat us 2-1, I'm going to slow down at the end of the day, blame myself.
There's no world
where United win. No way.
I'm that close that I'm that convinced that that's going to happen. I'm that close to be putting money on United to win this.
Nah. Unless you're just doing it.
Nah.
Try to jinx them kind of thing. But nah.
And why did you put Robbo in your team?
Because I expected us to have 2 clean sheets from 2 games in this game, not to worry me. But the fact we haven't got a win in 2, all the pressure's on
Gomez
us.
Is back.
If we don't win this, Liverpool win and a Liverpool clean sheet this weekend.
And Gomez is back in the back 4.
I think the pressure's going to get to us this week. We know if we don't win this, the title over already in 3 game weeks. So.
No, you can lock it out as 2-3, 4-0.
I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like
absolutely blow the cobwebs out, get rid of the haters. Salah back, Diaz back more central as well. Obviously with a different look forward line, I think we'll be fine. Attacking returns from the fullbacks. Yeah, he would have been nice off the bench. That's the thing. I think it was too early to throw him in, but we had no other choice, and that was the problem. We had to throw him in. He wasn't ready, and obviously I can't.
They're lacking Thiago's creativity in midfield.
We're missing half our midfield. We're missing the whole midfield, to be fair. The whole midfield's really not fit. The only one that's played the whole way is Fabinho.
And he's normally the one that's injured.
It's kind of funny.
I don't know. I just feel like that.
I think they need another midfielder.
We have for a while, since we lost Genie. What do you want, Damo?
I just feel with no Spurs, you're in the mud this week.
Nah.
No Spurs what?
No Spurs player in the mud.
I'm not in the mud.
Well, you got Kane. But I don't know. I mean,
I think
haven't even really got near Spurs, to be fair. And it's not because I don't rate them. It's just, I don't know, the first few fixtures didn't look good. And I'm not prepared to throw...
No one's really stood out for Spurs.
Nah. They've had 1 week.
Højbjerg scored. Kane scores ahead of it, should have been overturned.
But he also should have scored a very simple one-on-one. All right, talk us through this now. Why do you keep sharing your screen with me? What are you doing?
No, I'm just going to say, this is one thing why I recommend doing Fantasy Football Hub, because you can plan your transfers and save it for future game weeks, right?
Yes.
I've
done that
as it is
up
right
to my
now.
wild card.
This is the team as it is right now. So if I don't wildcard, I'm taking a -4 this week. But, I'm happy enough to ride that team this week anyway. Cucurella's going to start. Cancelo, Robertson, Trent.
All right,
Salah,
I see you're concerned about your goalkeepers. That's the main thing.
I am.
What's in the bank?
Chelsea and Man United. They're saying 0.5, but I have $1 million in the bank.
So next week, there's no... So really, as long as you don't get an injury, there's no reason why you can't go sideways on a goalkeeper next week.
Yeah, but I feel like I'd need the 2 transfers for the week after.
Why?
I'll show you why in a second. So, there we are, game week 4, 71 points predicted. I go to game week 5, optimise it, right, and save it. So
you've got 1 transfer for game week 4.
Yeah.
So you could use it. So you want to roll it. So you want to ride the goalkeeper against Chelsea.
Well, I feel like
I don't like that.
Because I don't like it either. But
why do you need 2 for the week after?
Well, I should have probably I wanted to roll this week. I feel like having 2 transfers is so huge because you can then mini wildcard. Only 4 transfers is like a -8, which is nothing if you're getting the 4 right players in. So I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball if I do that. If I ride the team right in game week 3, I can transfer here and get, Iverson out. I've got $1 million in the bank, and you're probably going Ramsdale if you got $1 million. You go keepers.
Or you can go Raya and ride 0.5.
Yeah, you can as well. But I feel like if you're going to do that, you got Fulham, Aston Villa, Man United, Everton.
And then Brentford.
Clean sheet. Probably a clean sheet depending on what Gerrard lines up. Man United, uncertain. Probably a clean sheet against Everton. Brentford is whatever, then it goes Spurs. Or you can ride the Raya.
You would change it by... Oh, you won't change. You would change it by then. You would have wildcarded in end of 8 into 9.
Probably, or 9 into 10. One of the 2. Rays is not bad. Fulham, Everton, Palace, Leeds.
Southampton.
Yeah.
And then Bournemouth after Arsenal too. So Raya gets 1 bad fixture there, to be fair.
Yeah. So you could go Raya.
I should have stayed with him. I switched to Melier so late. I'm so salty about that.
You should have had the clean sheet last week. I don't mind that. I think that's okay. Like if you go by goalkeepers and 4-week prediction, which is what I've been using.
Oh, you get Sanchez as well, but then...
Sanchez's fixtures are really good. West Ham, Leeds, Fulham, Leicester.
It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. But anyway, so that's 1 transfer. So then you go into game week 5.
So I'd save that.
And what's so wrong with game week 5?
Game week 5's fine. I would roll.
So then what's the problem?
I just feel like then in game week 6...
so much could happen between now and game week 6, Damo.
I need to get rid of...
And you'd have 2 transfers.
I need to get rid of Haaland and Foden for that game week.
Well, you have 2 transfers there, so it's fine.
Because they got Villa then Spurs, but by that stage, you've already lost out on your Spurs assets that you want to get in for that game week because they've already had their fixture swing. And then
but you get such a good run of Man City fixtures, so it doesn't matter. What are you freaking out about Spurs when you're riding City the same way? It makes no sense.
Captaining Son and Kane could be massive.
No, but you've got Salah, Haaland, and Jesus. There's no need. You're fine.
Good scores.
I don't understand what the problem is. I genuinely don't understand the problem.
Just don't think it's as settled. By the way, Neco Williams is in that team. That's Dunk.
Well, have you got Dunk currently? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. And that's going to make me change it there.
So it's even better. The fact that you've got Dunk helps. All right, end the stream. So, the fact you've got Dunk there helps, in my eyes.
So you're thinking keep it then?
100%. There's no need.
I just feel
you
like
genuinely don't have a need to wildcard.
I just feel like I cannot afford another bad week.
But then you're going to do this, Son's going to blank, and you're going to waste that you're not thinking about that possibility too. That you hit the wild card this week, Son blanks.
I don't think there's a world where Son blanks. I don't think there's a world
He might not even play a full 90 minutes. They're getting minutes into Richarlison, and who came off last week?
Yeah,
Son.
I think if he plays 60 minutes, he's going to get at least a
No,
goal.
Wolves are
or an
good
assist.
defence.
I think Wolves.
You're underselling Wolves here. I'll give it to you for Forest, but you're underselling Wolves. I don't know, Dom. What do you think?
Damo.
You're in your head.
If you wild card and there's something goes wrong, your season's done. Whereas if you just leave it and you have an average week, big deal. You've still got your wild card. It is game week 2.
Yeah, but I'm 0-2 in one head-to-head, and I'm 1-1.
That's the motivation. It's the head-to-head. It's the money in the head-to-head.
Yeah, I'm
there
all
it
of
is.
it, man.
There, you're gonna throw his rank away for head-to-head.
Nah, but it's more. Nah, it's not ranked for head-to-head. I'm trying to win FPL at the same time, man.
I think you've set a team up for 8 weeks, and you're gonna bin it after 2.
Because I made a mistake. I made a mistake in game.
A lot of people are gonna make mistakes. Yeah, well, whatever. You've got him out. Don't wild card because you took a point in -4 to get him out anyway.
Yeah.
So why are you blowing everything else up? You've fixed the error. Everything else is a calculated risk, but the wild card's a calculated risk too. You're not considering what happens if the wild card doesn't work.
I'm worried about that Man United fixture against Liverpool.
You shouldn't be.
I am.
I'm riding triple Liverpool and I'm fine with it. If it doesn't happen, I don't expect a clean sheet, but I expect attacking returns from both fullbacks.
Because I want to take a -8 this week.
No, you do not do that.
Robertson to James.
Nah, don't do that. You've brought him in for a reason. He's the second highest price defender for a reason.
I know.
The eye test is there for Robertson. He's put so many balls into the box that no one's got on the end of. It will connect. It will happen. He only got taken off last week because Tsimikas hasn't had any minutes and he was looking like he was going to get himself sent off. So, no issue with Robbo. Robbo is a ticking time bomb for fantasy points.
Liverpool attackers are dirty out.
Yeah.
And then they went down to 10 and the game.
But the whole time, Trent and Robbo have dominated both fixtures. Dominated. They just have not been lucky. It's their ball is creating the goals, but they're not. They're the pass to the assist.
If this is in 2 weeks and neither of them have had a return, then I'd be saying, get rid of them. There's a lot of money in your back. But it's only game week 2.
Yeah. Nah. With good fixtures coming as well.
5,
got Bournemouth coming next week.
Yeah.
It'd be stupid to get rid of Robbo at the moment.
Bournemouth at home, then Newcastle.
It's a good run. It's
in the Merseyside derby.
I think my plan is we leave it for this week. We then make the transfer from what's his name, Iverson to Raya, so then Ward doesn't play.
Or just whatever your 4.5 goalkeeper is.
Yeah, and then I'm rolling in game week 5 and I'm predicted to get 70 points.
Don't use the numbers. Just
you have to use the numbers. The numbers are there for a reason.
Yeah, but the numbers there for Digne too. And they were there for Bailey and they were there for Neto. So sometimes numbers aren't everything.
Yeah, but the same could be said for fucking Fabian Schär, and the numbers aren't there, and then bang, he bangs a goal. It's great.
That's a one-off in game week 1.
That's why the numbers are important, because statistically the data backs up for the last 3 years is what they use, and that's how it should ride.
Yeah, well, football's not played on a computer.
Yeah, I know.
It's good to give you a view.
Which is why I'm tempted to wildcard to something that I think my eye test likes, but the computer doesn't. But
anyway, I don't know. End of the day,
I think I'm leaving it. Then game week 6, I have 2 transfers, and I could either A, wildcard, or B, use 2 transfers to get rid of Foden and Haaland. But there's no clear on obvious who do you go to.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, there's just too many questions at the moment, and to wildcard not knowing enough information just seems silly to me.
It's Tony +1 for me. It's Tony comes in for Leeds, Southampton, Arsenal, and then Bournemouth.
When's that?
Game week 6.
Yeah, but you can't be making transfer plans for game week 6. We haven't even started game week 3 yet. Relax.
Yeah, but relax. That's how you have to play it. Though. You have to plan for a week.
He could tear his hamstring.
He could, and then you change your mind, and then you have a plan B. But at the same stage,
that's too far ahead. I wouldn't be looking more than 2 weeks ahead at the moment. Like, I'll be looking at what my team looks like, but I wouldn't be making moves a month in advance.
I always played FPL like that for the last fucking 5 years, man. It's kind of how you need to do it, so then you can plan for when your wildcard will be. I could wildcard in 6.
That's why we've built our teams the way we've built them, though, because we've built them with 8 weeks in mind. We've said that. We've openly all said that our team's built with a game week 8 not into 9 wildcard.
My first draft had no Haaland, which would have cost me, but I only was one up front with Jesus, and I've already had Salah, and I had Zinchenko, Edison. Ugh.
Yeah, so you're just in your head about mistakes you've made, and then you're chasing other points.
I'm trying to stay very balanced, but there's definitely a plan to wildcard this week. I think I won't do it, but then it's just a case of game week 8 being really bad for everybody.
Well, if it's bad for everybody, then what's the problem?
Because that's probably the week where you can make up some rank if you get something right.
But your season could be done by that point too.
Yeah, I know.
You're doing 6 weeks in ahead. Like it's too crazy.
You could have 3 torn hamstrings in your team
and 3 suspensions.
Yeah, who would have thought Nunez would go? What are all those people that transferred Nunez in?
Double return, then 3 weeks off.
Yeah, a lot of people transferred Nunez in for Jesus, so
exactly.
Could be worse. Yeah, exactly. But those people just don't know how to play FPL.
All right, let's look at some teams. Let's look at some community teams. All right. Where have I got them now? They're on Mozilla. So let's go here. Let's go. Why is Mozilla not loading?
For prediction.
Oh, this is going to be annoying. Add window capture. Here we go. All right, we're on. This is Rods' team. So he's got Ramsdale, Trent, Robbo, James, Patterson, Son, Martinelli, Rodrigo, Salah, Jesus, Tony. So I feel like this is a wildcard team.
Yeah, Rods finally wildcarded.
Rods has pulled the pin.
Don't go down with that.
What was that?
That's 49 points and like 38 points or whatever.
He needed a wild card.
Yeah.
Because he had Edouard up front. So, what I like about this team is Jesus, Tony, and the Liverpool boys at the back, and Reece James and Martinelli, and that's probably about it. And Ramsdale, I guess. But
I like it. I don't mind
I don't like Patterson and Neko.
Yeah, I don't either.
I really don't.
You can still wildcard out of that.
There's just no bench depth at all. The fact that you're playing one of them, I feel like you need at least a 4.5 with Patterson or Neko.
Got in the bank? That's the question. You should have some money in the bank with that team.
You shouldn't, because you've got Son, Salah,
Trent, Robbo, James, Ramsdale.
Yeah.
2 6s as well. 2 over 6.
He probably lost value to begin with.
Yeah. Not playing with 100 mil probably hurts that too. So
yeah,
I'd go down to Son and get like one of the mid-range mids, and then Patterson up to like a 4 or a 5 point.
Cancelo.
Try get to Cancelo or Walker.
I feel like Cancelo's a must.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, I regret Cancelo. I've got to try to get him in the next 2 weeks.
I'd rather be in your spot though. You're pretty flexible at the minute.
All right. So that's my thoughts with that one there overall. I would definitely look at getting at least a 4.5, whether it's Dunk, whether it's Henry.
And I agree with Dim there. You need a City player, at least one.
Yeah.
Kyle Walker?
Yeah, look.
I don't know. I don't have Walker at the moment because of that new fullback that's come in too. And Walker's not a getting forward. He sits as a centre mid. Fullback. He literally is just a clean sheet or nothing type player. I just don't.
You can get Nathan Ake that does the same job at the minute.
I'd rather just get Diaz for the extra mil. At least he might score a header. You know what I mean?
He's going to start 90 minutes.
Yeah.
The best way to get into the City defence is Edison.
Yeah, for an extra 0.5.
Yeah.
If you could find $1 million and split Ramsdale into Edison and then a Patterson or Williams into a 4.5, then maybe that's the way forward.
I will say, Rods, looking at your team has given me a sense of calm that sticking with my team's actually okay for this game week.
All right, next team up. Let's go. The next team up is the mighty Russ Bus, who has...
Bring it.
After had some fantastic... was it week before?
Week 1.
Yeah, he had a good week 1.
Yeah.
Ramsdale, Cucurella, Trippier, Walker. So I don't like the Trippier-Walker combination there playing each other. But then he's got Martinelli, Trossard, Benrahma, Salah and Son with Haaland and Jesus. Russo is one who loves a bit of sauce in his team. So I am
I like it.
keen to see how this goes. I like it. I'd probably bench Trippier for Patterson this week, though.
I was about to say that.
But other than that, I really like it. I mean, he's got Trossard versing Benrahma, and the one thing I'm a little bit worried about with Trossard...
I don't mind midfielders versing each other.
Pardon?
I don't mind midfielders versing
No,
each other.
that's fine. But what I
Yeah.
was getting at was that I don't know where Trossard is with the new left-back signing this week.
I think he goes further forward.
He may go into that 10 role and the Lana hits the bench probably. So
Yeah.
I think it's
I don't see why
Trossard
they're
and
probably-
Gross together in the 2 10s behind whatever number 9 they play. So Russo,
back.
I like that you've listened to the feedback that we've given you early, and your team it's good. It's got some real
Patterson
differentials
for-
in it. I like it.
Patterson for Trippier.
Yeah, 100%. Get Patterson starting. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
All right, next team up is JS, who's got Sanchez. He's got Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, Dunk, very solid with Trippier on the bench. I like that back five. Salah, De Bruyne, Andreas, Saka, Rodrigo, Jesus.
Like
The
it.
one thing I don't like is you're only rolling one playable sub. That would be my only criticism.
Who's going to shift a few goals?
Well, the playable sub is Andreas and Dunk.
Oh, Andre. Okay, sorry.
So that's your one playable sub. I'd try and split some money from somewhere. The issue is looking at that team. So the way I did it was I split that money from my 8 mil mid. I just don't like the no premium striker. I mean, I know he's got De Bruyne that kind of covers it, and last week it paid off big. But I don't know, just looking at one striker just makes me feel uneasy. I don't know. It's just...
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it a lot, that one striker. I think the only thing that you can do there, JS, if you have 2 free transfers, is you go from Saka to Martinelli,
Yeah.
and that gives you enough money to upgrade elsewhere if you need to. Maybe
get
look at the
Archer up.
You can get Archer up to even Mitrovic, whose fixture
Welbeck.
swings in a few weeks.
Rather Welbeck.
at the minute.
I'd triple him up on Brighton, though.
Yeah, I'd actually go, if I was you, I'd go Mitrovic because he gets a good game week this week, I think, against Brentford.
He's got a couple bad ones, though.
And then he
they
gets a
got
couple
Brentford.
bad ones, and then he goes on a good run of like game week 6 through to 9.
But
and
at
that's
least
gonna
it
take you
gives
to wild
you
card.
at least it gives you 2 playable bench options though that you can rotate with.
Yeah, but
That's
I like the
wrong,
idea. The thing is, you take Saka out this week. This will be the week where he's due, and he'll
I
go
think if you
bang.
go on Saka to Martinelli, 100,000%.
Yeah, you have to get the value.
Yeah,
So JS, I don't know if you've got any transfers left. I'm going to assume
I think he's got 2.
no, because he didn't start with Rodrigo. He spoke about Rodrigo, but he didn't have Rodrigo, so he's brought Rodrigo in, and I reckon he's brought
think that's
Dunk in.
a-
I reckon he's made 2 this week.
I reckon that's not the move, though.
You can
bring
check his
Rodrigo
points
in.
for me, but I reckon he went Rodrigo and Dunk, and 100% I wouldn't go chasing Rodrigo
Oh.
now.
I would not. Rodrigo's time's passed.
Can you check his team from
Yeah, I am
last
right
week?
now.
But yeah, I think Rodrigo scoring 3 and 2. Anyone buying him now is buying the previous points.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. He had
And
Digne and Bailey.
there it is. Nah, you've gone the
He
wrong
got
Leeds
80
midfielder there.
He's got 80 in with a -1 on Digne and Bailey. Jeez.
No, the
For me.
negative will come off this week.
No, as in he got a -1 and a 1, which is
Oh,
zero last
sorry.
week. He got 80 points.
Yeah, jeez. Okay.
Jeez.
I think
Happening
though
in De
you could have
Bruyne.
saved the
Oh.
value and saved the transfer. So I would have saved it. Oh, I mean, he had Bailey. I don't know. I think he's gone a week too early on the Leeds midfielder. Like he has to play them. That's the problem. But you want the Leeds midfielders or the Leeds players from next week. You don't want them now, and you don't want them playing against Chelsea because
You either wanted him from the start of the season or from game week 4.
yeah, and he's
Five.
chased the comment that he said early that he did rate Rodrigo early, and he's missed the boat, and then he's chased the boat. So that would be my one negative. But he's top of our classic league, so I can't say too much. But oh no, he's Lou top. I think Lou's top just.
Lose top, yeah.
He had a freaking 90 this week. It's unbelievable. All right, last team, and I think it's the only person that's been in the chat today is our boy Dim. He
Yeah.
wants to preface that he's got 1 million in the bank.
Yep.
The same thing I'm going to say, Dim. I just don't like the Dersavoglu on the bench or playing because they're just not looking like they're getting near the team. So I would look to try and get a playable second sub in. But you've gone Trent, Cancelo, Rico Henry, Cucurella, and the Trippier on the bench, which is fine. Podence, Martinelli, De
Yeah,
Silva,
yeah.
Salah, De Bruyne, and Haaland. I love the De Bruyne Haaland double link
I
up
do
there.
too.
And we even give him, he should be giving us advice.
Look, again, it's the one striker. I don't like the not having one of Haaland, Kane with Jesus. I just don't like it.
The fact he doesn't have Jesus is massive.
Yeah.
75% of players have Jesus. Technically speaking, if more than 25% of the population that owns Jesus captains Jesus, if you don't captain Jesus and he scores points, you automatically go down in rank because he's over 100% ownership. So it's not nice to not even just own him either. So yeah, that's what makes me worried about not captaining Jesus this week. If more than 25% of people could captain Jesus and he goes, you're automatically going down in rank because the population of over 100% own Jesus.
100%.
Yeah, because it's effective ownership.
Well, it's not. 25% of 25% of 75 get 100%. Double points. It's not that's not how it works.
No, because that counts as double the player pool. Listen to FPL, mate. It's double percent, 100% ownership, effective ownership.
Oh, it's not.
Argue about this off screen.
Because you still get half of his points. It's not like you get nothing. If you got nothing, if you're a Jesus owner and got nothing, and the other people get double, you don't lose half.
You lose the double points that you
because you don't. There. You're adding your captain. You're not factoring in your captain.
Yeah, but your captain, mate. That's why it's 100%. That's what how
it's
they.
Not 100%.
That's what 100% ownership means. Effective ownership.
No, it doesn't matter. Oh my god. Just 25% just magically just appears out of nowhere.
Depends how many people captain him this week.
It's the same thing then. If they captain him and he plays, you don't understand risk reward. You don't look at you only look at one side, the side that impacts you the most.
It
if
is.
you
That's
don't
how
captain
you
him and
you
he blanks,
risk.
Yeah, but if he blanks, then what are you going to say? You're going to say that we then double points? No, we get half still. Like it's so irrelevant because regardless of what he does, we get half if we don't captain him. So you just that same risk happens every week. It's I don't get where it's an issue.
Right, mate.
It's just
not
the same people that have De Bruyne captain. I know the ownership makes a difference because he's less owned, but you play that risk every game. All the 50% of people that have Salah.
Yeah,
how often do people captain him?
Salah's going to be over 100% ownership, effective ownership this week as well. Because more than 50% of population that are going to captain Salah.
Whatever. All right. I just feel like that you just play the game like that every week then. Like, effective ownership means nothing then because every week a high percentage person is getting captained. And if you don't captain them... like
That's why people with Salah, that captain Salah for most of the last season, ended up being in the top half of FPL.
It's logic. It's just logic. It's a good player with good fixtures. So I don't understand why that makes it...
That's what makes Jesus really wary this week.
Yeah, but I feel that if I get I've considered Jesus. I'm not considering it because he's high ownership. I'm considering it because he's had 4 attacking returns and he's playing Bournemouth. So
I'm considering it
from a smart FPL decision. I don't care about 100%, whatever that effective bullshit ownership is. I look at it as he's probably got the best matchup out of the 3. So I'm going to back the team that's scoring and the guy that's scoring, and I'm probably going to captain him. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm thinking about it very heavily because...
I am too.
It's a good fixture, and I don't care about anything else. I don't care what everyone else is doing. I want to maximise the points on my team, and if I maximise the points on my team, my rank will reflect that.
Increase, yeah, I hear you.
So if 75%... If 50% of 75% captain him too, cool, we're all going up together. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's it. And then the 25% that doesn't captain him, you get ahead
of. But then if Salah then goes off too, then it rubs itself out. And that's the thing for me. Because I don't care. I really don't care what everyone else does. If I can make the right decisions on my team, then that's all I care about.
That in a nutshell is how effective ownership works right there.
Yeah,
right. That's why a lot of people are tossing up between Salah or Jesus this week. Because... you don't want to be on the other side of that coin where Jesus goes big, you don't captain him, and then you lose out on those extra points.
But it's the same thing that we were talking about last week with you going between Salah Haaland. You didn't know where you were going to lie.
The reason why I went Haaland was only because his effective ownership was over 100%. I didn't want to have them both get the same 1 goal each, but me not captaining Haaland cost me more than me not captaining Salah. In the end, it didn't matter because we all went Haaland. The whole world went Haaland.
Well, it did matter because you chose Haaland. And if you went Salah, you would have been further behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I had to go Haaland, because his effective ownership was higher than Salah.
I just would have gone Haaland because he was playing Bournemouth. you
Look,
know what I mean?
I'm telling you, if Salah was owned by 88% of the population last week and Haaland was owned by 10, I would have captained Salah because it would have hurt my rank more if Salah scored more points.
I still would have gone Haaland. I don't know, Dom, what would you have done last week? Salah versus Palace, Haaland versus Bournemouth at home, both at home.
I did Haaland.
No, but regardless of any other external factor, would you in that matchup, regardless of if 88% of the freaking player pool?
I don't look at what other people do.
Thank you.
I don't care.
Maximise our eye test. I don't care what other people do. I really don't care. I could not care less.
I play a very statistical database. Definitely.
And that's why I had Digne.
Yeah, that is. Look, that is why I had Digne. I'm going to have to ride that for the whole year. A lot of FPL professionals had Digne. Poor FPL Focal had the same as me.
Yep.
So yeah,
shit happens, and that's why I just back my gut and go with it.
Yeah, I hear you too. Look, at the end of the day, it's how you want to play FPL. But you know, the ultimate factor is for me, captaincy wise, and the reason why I'm suggesting for you, Dim, to make sure you get Jesus in as soon as you can is.
I understand the 75% ownership, like being in the 25 and he's hitting.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in that 25% and he gets points, you're in trouble. And then if you're an owner of him and you're not captaining him and he hits more than what your captain does, you're in trouble. You're automatically going down. You're not catching anyone. So
his captain,
I think that's too late, Dim.
It would have been low.
Dim, if you're waiting for your wild card for Jesus, you've missed the boat.
Yeah, he needs to be in
now. Just ride it.
The fixtures are too good, and I think the only way you're doing it is if you make 2 transfers and you make them quick. Otherwise, you're going to miss the boat because their fixtures aren't going to get better than they are now. That's my concern with Arsenal. If you want Arsenal players, you've got to make it happen now because this run is too good to not have. And I was looking at triple Arsenal at the start of the year, and I didn't do it because I was scared if they blank, then they all blank.
We go by history. Arsenal, the last few years, has started piss poor. Look at them last year.
Yeah.
Different
side. But the fixtures were very different last year.
Different side. It's 2 players. It's
but those two players are
no, but them the start of the season to January and then from January to May were 2 different Arsenal teams too. Yeah. There was a big change.
They do that.
Well, no, normally they don't. Normally they fade away. But last year, I mean, they faded away late, but they look different. They're playing different. They're a different side. There's competitiveness for spots there. Yes, it's Zinchenko, Jesus, predominantly as 2 signings, but it's a year of growth for Martinelli. It's a year of growth for Smith Rowe and Saka and Odegaard and cohesion. Like there's more than just players. Like it's a style and it's a philosophy that they're playing that looks good. It's also Saliba coming back, who's a huge part. It's Tomiyasu staying fit. A lot of moving parts, but I didn't want to commit to the trifecta of Arsenal attackers in the case that they have a blank. You're then blanking in 3 big spots. That was my concern. And Saka really got lucky to get the assist in the first round and blanked last week. So he was the one I dodged. So that's one decision I've made that was okay. But I got Mount. Mount was the worst of the 8 millions. And I stuck with him.
You rode him. Yeah.
So anyway, it is what it is.
Look,
but let's be real. What does Jesus have that Tony doesn't?
Ownership?
Consistency, ownership, but just a better team around him. Really, more opportunities. Better.
You like Brentford?
We love Brentford, but you can't. Jesus is in a much better position than Tony is. I got both, so I don't care. Watch Fulham bloody keep a 0-0 bloody this week now against Brentford. Now got De Silva and Tony in.
Yeah.
Are they the second game tomorrow?
They're in the 11:30 slot. We're going to be having fun there.
Yeah. So Everton, Forest.
All right, let me get it up.
Leicester, Southampton, Fulham, Brentford, Palace, Villa. So who will be the main game?
It's a good stretch of games, isn't it? It really is. I'm excited for Goal Rush. You'd say that it's Leicester. It's Leicester, Southampton, probably.
I'll tell you right now.
I reckon it's Leicester, Southampton, surely.
I reckon it's going to be Palace and
Villa. I said Palace, Villa.
Yeah, but Villa, but they've both already been on it. Or Villa have. Villa were last week.
You know which game they should go? Fulham and Brentford.
That'd be interesting. How do you know? How do you check?
They'll be on their match program.
Is it Everton Forest?
Oh, that's killer.
Nah.
Neco Williams.
Let's go,
God.
Neco.
Neco versus Patterson.
Team, but Neco, let's go.
I've done it for Neco versus Patterson.
Who are we going?
A draw.
0-0.
Nah, score draw.
No, I'm going Neco. So
Forest.
I've got Patterson.
Neco with a clean sheet.
I've got
Forest
Patterson, so I'd love a 0-0 or attacking returns for both. 2-2 draw and no points for both. Is that why? Because Dim, I don't think you've got either, do you, in your team? That's why.
I don't have either. And I think Forest maul them.
So Damien, you don't have either. Who would you be starting? Would you start Neco or Patterson?
Neco Williams every day.
After last week, you'd start Neco, but
Every
I've got
day.
Patterson. I think
If
I
you
don't
have
know.
one of them, you got to ride it. But I would be starting.
I got both,
Neco
and I'm
Williams
going
every day.
Neco. Like we said in our chat, he
looks amazing.
Regen.
Gibbs White's
Has
done
no
as well now.
intentions of defending. I don't even know if he can defend. Probably can't defend.
I think
Doesn't
Patterson
matter,
looks
man.
good too,
He's
though.
taken the
Patterson's
number
been
7.
unlucky. Patterson could have had an assist and a goal across
Everton
2
is,
game weeks.
Useless.
Yeah.
No, but Patterson could have had the assist
He
for
should have
that,
had the assist.
for the goal, but then also
Yeah.
he's looking dangerous too. Like, okay, he's not as dangerous. He's not on set pieces as Neco is.
Neco's getting a return.
I thought Everton were going to be a bit more solid. They are looking okay, but obviously the Villa game was a bit of an interesting
Connor
one.
Cody, bit of stability back there.
Yeah, so I think both. Look, I think they're pretty similar. I think Everton are probably more likely for clean sheets. Neco's more likely for attacking returns. So that's the risk reward again. But for 4 million, you're getting 2 playing 4 million. Pick one.
Yeah, playing a back 3.
Both playing back threes.
Play wing back.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's going to be an interesting game. I really kind of want to buy a Nottingham Forest kit because I love how it hasn't got a sponsor on it.
Because they got no sponsor at all at the minute, which is ludicrous. Because
I'm sure they'll find some Greek sponsor.
Yeah.
All right. I reckon that's where we will wrap things up. Another big week coming. We'll have another sort of review and preview episodes out next week. But boys, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you very much, Paulie. Thank you yet again, Dom. And confirmation, I'm currently sticking to my current side.
Make sure you guys are...
Confiscate your phone.
Can we auto-lock your phone from remotely? So you don't...
731.
If I've already broken this much of my case already with this FPL, you might as well not even bother with my phone, Dom, because it's going to be broken by the end of this game week.
When you now haven't wildcarded and Sun scores 4.
Yeah, if that happens, boys, you may not see me.
All right.
We'll take the blame for that one if he scores a hat-trick.
Yep. I'll ride that. All right. That's where we'll leave it. Thank you for everyone that's been watching. Make sure you get in the Discord. If you still want to join the Classic League, link is in the Discord. Ask for it and someone will provide it for you. Dim, thanks for your input tonight, and we'll see you next week for our wrap-up of Game Week 3.